building a rocket, been working so hard, getting ready to rock it, straight out of my backyard.
Hey everybody, this is Jay and welcome to Talk B4T once again. The channel for crazy people who start businesses in parts of the world that are hard to access, either due to government regulation or due to just environment. And we start these businesses in order to help people generate wealth in places where that wealth is desperately needed. So, excuse me. Let's get moving here on Talk B4T. Still working out my microphone here. I'm using my headphones because I'm not rich and famous yet. But as soon as I'm rich and famous, I'm going to get a proper microphone. So in my last one where I talked about what B4T was, I talked a little bit about the philosophy of why we do what we do. This one, I'm going to talk about some examples. And what better place to start is with me. I ran a language school in New Delhi, India for about 10 years. What possessed me to do that? Well, I spent some time in South Asia when I was younger, when I was before college, actually. I was only 18 years old. I spent about 3 years in South Asia, and I really started to like that part of the world. But I also noticed the needs there. And one of the needs was for English training because, India in particular is a former British colony. And so India is the business language there. It's the language of the government. It's the language of the universities. So if you don't speak English well, it's hard to get an education and it's hard to get a job at India. Obviously, English is the business language in India. I went to college to be a teacher. And I thought, when I become a teacher, I would like to go back to India and I'd like to start a language school to help people learn English and be able to get better jobs. Some of us wrestle with the idea that we have more than a lot of other people in the world. As an American, we have a lot of resources that we just have access to that other countries don't have. For some of us, that doesn't bother us at all. For me, it bothered me. It's like I must have received these resources for some other reason than just benefiting myself. So during my time as a language student in South Asia, I noticed the need for good teachers and good English skills. And I thought, if I ever get back to South Asia, I'm going to start an English school there. I'm going to train people to speak English well. And the opportunity came up to be able to do that. And so my family and I, my 2 kids, my wife and myself, we moved to India, where we started a language school called Dynamic Training Services. Now again, the need really motivated me to do this, but also what motivated me was my faith, my religious faith. I'm a Christian. Jesus said his followers would do greater things than he did. And I wanted to be that kind of a person, somebody who does greater things than Jesus did. Moving to a developing country and educating people who need it, helping them generate their own wealth there, seemed to me like something Jesus would say is a great thing. Ears burn a little bit when I say it's a greater thing than Jesus did, because Jesus was God, and so it's really hard to say I was doing something greater than he did. But I think that's the spirit behind what Jesus said, is that we would do these things in his name out of love for people and out of gratitude to God for giving us the resources he's given us. We started the school in a Muslim area. Muslims are a minority in India. There are 200 million people, but they're still a minority in a country as populous as India. But I think we were thinking, where is wealth the most needed here? And so that's where we started. We started training Muslims how to speak English so they could get better jobs. There were 13 students in my first class, but by the time we sold it in 2014, there were close to 500. One more example. A couple I work with work in a country that I can't disclose the location, but it's a very, very much a developing country. And he started a business there, and from scratch. He worked for a company there for a while. Then he branched out on his own and started his own service-related company. He's an American. Now he has over 80 employees in his company. All of them paid well, all of them generating wealth, and all of them generating a good living And he's using the resources God gave him, not just for himself, but to help others. So those are some B4T stories. And you may have questions. Go ahead and write the questions down in the chat below. And don't forget, this way, to subscribe. Hit this target symbol and you can subscribe to this channel. This is Jay from Talk B4T. Have a good week.